Alright, hello guys, this is XP Scaling, and today we will be covering, Baki from the Maximum Tournament arc. Little side note, I'm outside, it looks nice out, so I'm in the park right now, so if you guys hear anything, it's because I'm at the park. So, following up with, my previous video of Baki, he has recently been defeated at the hands of his father, Yujiro Hanma. And apparently he decides to go on a 4-year time skip. So, after honestly receiving a beatdown from his father, Yujiro honestly being able to dish out at least in the city block to multi-city block ranges, despite taking this damage, he's shown to have no difficulty doing so. And honestly, after having found out that his mother died, he's kind of psychologically damaged and dealing with a lot of trauma and baggage. So, in his own way of mourning, sadly, he kind of carries his mother on his back and has a little bit of a hallucination daydream. And despite being in a very psychologically and mentally broken down state, he's still capable of warding off at least a small group of police officers, right? They try to stop him. He roars at them. He's here like, look, guys, just please let me continue daydreaming just a little bit more. Just don't want to wake up yet. And, afterwards, after giving the, police officers a Baki foot sandwich, finessing all of them, leaves, lets one of his uncles know, like, yeah, nah, I'm going to take a 2-year trip to America and then I'll be back, right? So here he is, despite being in a very distraught state, proceeds to, finesse all these cops. Honestly, no difficulty. Kicks them all in the groin before any of them could react. And headbutts this guy, leaves sometime later. And this is his uncle that he lets know. Now, at this point, Baki was 13 when he, left. And it's been about 2 years now. So he's at least 15 by this time now. And in the time that he's spent in America, he's gone around and has challenged every known martial artist, every known boxer, every dojo that he could even come across. And as we even see here, challenges a wrestler, proceeds to no diff him. Boom. Challenges a taekwondo user, proceeds to finesse him. Boom. Meets a judo guy. You guys know the result. So essentially he's fighting all the martial artists in America. None of them were a challenge to him. So that would mean an entire nation's worth of martial artists or martial art masters were not enough to give this 15-year-old Baki a challenge. So in terms of skill, this would honestly mean that he's easily in the, he's easily in terms of skill in the fighting genius. I mean, to say that he's anything less than that at this point, would be a little silly based off of the series. But, if I had to rate him, right, bare minimum. And he even states here, all the best fighters from the United States that I came across, none of them were good enough for me to approve. But they all said the exact same thing. It didn't surprise me. But there's something that I found out by fighting with them. And, he essentially says, wow. They all essentially say, wow, if you ever want to get strong, you have to go to Rio. There's this underground arena over there. Boom, you got to make it. And again, just to emphasize real quick, an entire nation's worth of martial artists weren't good enough for Baki Hanma to improve. For real life terms, there are probably about 170 martial arts in real life. It's honestly bare minimum a good chance that he's gone over or has encountered at least 100 of them. So taking that into account, none of them gave him a challenge. Even though it was good for him to be exposed to these martial arts, as it's more than likely they helped him improve in some way, but to not even give him a challenge or for him to improve in his skill that much, that should still speak volumes for how skilled Baki is at this point. So after arriving to Rio, he meets the guy, Rickson. And it turns out this Rickson guy, he's actually the best Brazilian fighter in the underground arena of Brazil. He has at least 700-0 win a 700-0 win streak, right? Gets greeted by his butler. You could see, like what I said, 700 trophies. The guy even says, wow, he has an official 700-0 win streak. He's never lost even once. And this is what he looks like when Baki first meets him. So obviously, you could see that there were some shenanigans going around. So, Rickson, for a little bit, he kind of gives, a little monologue. He's here like, every day I practice to get strong, year after year. Man, I'd said goodbye to my friends. I'd broken up with women every day, no exceptions. I wanted to be strong, amigo. And then, boom, amigo, it happened. I had 700 wins under my name. I go to this fighting ground, in Tokyo, under the Tokyo Dome, whatever. They embarrass me. I looked like a fool, right? And this guy does try to, jump Baki. He tries to convince him, don't go. You're gonna get hurt. It's not worth it. And Baki proceeds to brush this man off, right? He's just like, look, bro, amigo, you'll lose everything. You won't be able to train again. All the years that you've dedicated to getting stronger, all of it, you're gonna lose it all. And Baki just says, look, who should I go see to enter? And Baki, in the eyes of Rickson, as he states, wow, in the 30 years that I've trained in my hands at fighting, this is the youngest samurai I've ever seen, right? And then sometime later, where Baki returns to the Tokyo Dome, well, back to Tokyo, Japan, that he ends up invading the residence of Mr. Tokugawa. Mr. Tokugawa being the man who actually runs the underground arena. So, at arriving at his residence, he proceeds to bolo most of his, security guards. Turns out one of them is an exception, though, as you're going to see here. And again, jumps the wall, blitzes, proceeds to, mollywop all of them, makes them all look stupid. Is actually in danger for once. Boom. And it turns out that this particular guardsman is an actual participant in the underground arena. He even goes to brag about that he's only one of 50 people in the entirety of the world who is skilled enough to actually participate in the arena, and tells Baki, wow, if you defeat me, you will be allowed to join the very next day. And he says, wow, look, if you want to meet the boss, you gotta, defeat my Shoten Fist, I had a feeling, if you want to get into the underground boss, you wanted to speak to the boss. Am I right? Baki's just here like, yeah, nah, you got it. Goes a little further. If you defeat me, I'll let you join tomorrow. And this is the statement where he even says, wow, after all, I'm one of less than 50 people from around the world who is an official fighter of the Holy Land. So if we take that into an account, that would mean that even if you were, say, a world-class champion, you might not be good enough to enter in this underground arena. So that would mean out of, say, the entire population of Earth, of fighters, at least, only 50 of them have shown to be good enough to be capable of fighting at the underground arena. And Baki proceeds to throw the hands with said guy. So that would mean Baki, at this point, is capable of challenging easily some of the most top martial artists or top fighters in the world at this point. And again, he's easily in the genius level of fighting. And Baki proceeds to go in, starts off with a nice high kick, proceeds to get countered. And this guy, as we, do see, he wasn't lying, proceeds to no diff in blocking and countering all of Baki's attacks. Baki even goes to compliment, wow, this guy, he has a totally different technique from my father or even Gaia. And he even keeps copying my stance. And this guy, honestly, tries to, legit teach Baki, look, if you had a good defense, it'd help you. And Baki's just like, look, no, you need to, do me a favor, shut the hell up, and just throw the hands. At this, Baki does proceed to get, Shodan strike, to the face. Despite taking this heavy hit, it doesn't even drop him, right? Baki says, wow, why didn't you follow up with that, my guy? That was a perfect chance, too. The guy, and Baki's here just like, What do you mean? That's only one punch. I'm ready to get this fight started, bro. You sure you even good enough for the underground arena? And at this point, real quick, Baki proceeded to, body this guy, knee him in the face, and take him down. Right? With the Tiger King finish, right? Now, this should be very impressive considering the fact that this guy stated that he's either one of 50 people who gets to participate in the underground arena. So that would mean Baki at this point, in terms of skill, is capable of challenging said fighters. So that would mean Baki, despite being at the age of 15, is easily one of the top martial artists in the world, just by default by this feat right here. So after meeting with Mr. Tokugawa, he's allowed to enter into the underground arena. So now, if we take into account what was said earlier, Baki's honestly one of the top fighters, but what makes this crazy is by the time the Baki series technically starts, or what we're going to get to a little after this, he's at least 17. And he does state that he has to at least get 2 to 3 times stronger in order to fight Yujiro. So if we take that into an account, as he does get stronger, you could say from the time he's 15 to 17, he either manages to get 2 or 3 times stronger than that. As we go here, he says, wow, please let me enter the arena and I'll get stronger. 2 or 3 times more to defeat Hanma Yujiro I need to be. And, Mr. Tokugawa lets him in. So it's kind of revealed that all that, has been covered from this point on was actually just a memory or a flashback that he went through, right? As you can see here, Baki is actually 17, and it turns out he's the actual champ of the underground fighting arena. As you can see, this whole thing was just him meditating and remembering. And please note, guys, everything that I did cover up again is I wanted it mainly to serve as the foundation as to how strong Baki should be. And, in the technicality of it all, this is technically just a flashback. It's a little mixed up, as I was a little mixed up kind of, covering this, but I hope you guys bear with me. So, real quick, since this is honestly the end of the video, if we take into account the statement that he said earlier, that he has to be at least 2 to 3 times stronger in order to beat Yujiro, and it turns out he got to be in the underground arena for at least another 2 years, being 17 years. By the time the maximum tournament arc starts, he's at least 17. That would mean that, let's say he didn't get any stronger from the time he was 13. Baki, if you guys saw my previous video, I estimated could more than likely output 13 tons of force, or that would be at least, in the city block level. So if we were to say double that and say, wow, he could probably output at least 26 tons of force. That would mean he's now in the multi-city block ranges. And then if we triple that, he's most definitely in the multi-city block ranges. And then if we go for speed, I managed to clock him in at around, Mach 2. If we double that, Mach 4, triple that, he's Mach 6. So in terms of scaling, you could say he's now at the age of 17 in the multi-city block ranges. And for speed, easily in the bullet ranges to hypersonic. So real quick, this is just like, a little introduction as to how strong Baki should be now that he's going to enter into the maximum tournament arc. I'm sorry it's a little mixed up. Been a little while. So I hope you guys enjoy. Dislike, unsubscribe, and turn off the notifications. And please give me a hate comment. Till next time.